Hey y'all, hey, what's up, my tribe builders? Welcome back to the Brown Mama's Tribe Builder course made for any leader building community with care and intention. Before we get into today's lesson, I want you to take our 30-second commitment. You should know it by now. We are 6 videos in, so let's get it. We build community. We are moms, grandmas, dads, uncles, and aunties and neighbors. We are childcare workers, nurses, bus drivers, and business owners. We are the village. We fill in the gap. We listen to stories, honor the present, validate the vision of everyday people. When one season ends, the next begins. When the needs shift, the questions change, and life gets real, we are there. We are space. We hold space. Space to learn, space to connect, space to lead, space to grow. All right. So now we are talking about what I know many of you want to talk about, starting an online community. As you know, Brown Mama started out primarily on Facebook. We started having meetups. We created a Facebook group, and the Facebook group is where we kind of blew up from. We were included in the Facebook Community Accelerator program, had a once in a lifetime opportunity to be trained by Facebook, programming and Facebook leaders to lead our Facebook group and to really understand how to best get our community members to convene in a way that actually help them in their real lives. And so today we're talking about that. We're talking about starting an online community, which is actually kind of like your digital front porch. And here's the main thing I need you to remember. Your online space should mirror the behaviors and the needs of the people you're building offline for. Not your favorite platform, not what the gurus are pushing, not what looks professional. Your people will tell you what works by how they already live. It's that simple. That was one of the beautiful things about the Brown Mamas Facebook group, is that our members started to use it to just live their lives, like to ask for where to find a doctor, to exchange strollers, to get each other groceries. And so you got to ask yourself some questions about how they already engage online and what are they doing? Do they write long posts or send voice notes? Do they want privacy or visibility? Do they check in once a day or once a week? Do they even like discussion, or do they prefer just announcements and quiet support? If your people move like a group text, don't build them a whole forum. If your people need privacy, don't build a public stage. If your people are exhausted, don't build a space that requires constant output or extra logins. Like, you got to keep it simple. So here's a quick behavior-based guide for choosing a platform. And I'm just going to go through some of the ones I know, and you're gonna think about it. So Facebook group is best when your people like discussion threads and commenting, want events, polls, lives, and searchable posts, already spend time on Facebook. Watch out on Facebook if it can get really noisy, especially if there's no structure. What about WhatsApp? WhatsApp is best when your people communicate in short bursts, voice notes, quick check-ins. If they need fast mutual aid or real-time support, you have to watch out for WhatsApp because it can become overwhelming fast with no boundaries. It's just an endless feed of talking. Then you've got your newer platforms like School and Circle, which are best when your people want a calmer, more intentional space, are willing to log into a separate platform, want organized topics and less direction. You have to watch out here because there's a learning curve and you might need onboarding support, and those platforms can get a bit pricey. And you might even want to consider an Instagram broadcast channel. And these are primarily when your people want updates, encouragement, and announcements, and they don't need discussion as much or as much direction. You have to watch out here because it's not built for depth. It's built for more like a town crier type situation. So if your people want depth, that's not where you go. But what you have to ask is, where do my people already gather? And how do they naturally speak? And that's your answer. If you can answer those 2 questions, you can figure out where your online community should exist. So now let's talk a little bit about the foundational pieces so your group doesn't turn into chaos, because Brown Mama's Facebook group has turned into chaos many a day. And we had to do a lot of working and reworking to help people to understand our community norms and what were the boundaries that we put in place. But we actually got really good at it. So once you pick your platform, you need four foundational pieces. Number one, you need a name that tells the truth, not clever, not clear. Ours was simple: Brown Mamas. What is the space? What is this space and who is it for? Brown Mamas works so well because it identifies itself so others can identify with it. A one sentence purpose. This is your anchor. Brown Mamas builds community for Black moms. If your purpose is fuzzy, the group gets messy. People end up coming into the group that shouldn't be in the group, and then it's no longer a community. It's just like a cookout. You need rules that protect the culture. Again, go back to our last video. You need to have those agreements. Rules don't control people. Rules keep communities safe and respected. And then you need a moderation plan, because leadership without harm means you don't wing it when things go left. And you don't do it by yourself. Your moderation plan should not be, well, I'm going to check the group. Your moderation plan should be, here are my people I'm putting in place to ensure that the community stays honored, respected, safe, and strong. And I want to say this very plainly to you. People are not content. Trauma is not entertainment. And I understand for many of us tribe builders out here, including myself, when I started Brown Mamas, I didn't know any of this stuff. So there was very times often where there were arguments in our online community and I had no idea how to contain it. But you have to understand that your group should not require people to bleed out in public to belong. And you actually want, there's all types of ways, like now Facebook has anonymous posting and whatnot. There's all types of ways to keep people's identity safe, and you should employ those, but you also should help your members to understand that you're operating in community. So that's with other people. And so therefore what you say could trigger somebody else, and they may not post on Facebook about it. They may go home and be depressed and stressed about it. So we want to make sure that we are not just respectful of the people who are crying out, but also the people who are watching and paying attention in the background. So most groups don't fail because nobody joins. They fail because nobody knows what to do once they get there. So you need to have an onboarding flow, even for your online group. It's not just enough to have a community gatherings where you have a flow and you have people in place, but you have to have that if you're going to take on the responsibility of having an online group. So here's a simple onboarding flow. Number one, have a welcome post. Have a welcome post, and if you can, have yourself or the other tribe builders on your team to create a quick video that just says, this is who we are and this is why we are, and thank you for being here. We're welcomed in this space. Number two, have a pinned post that orients people, like a start here. Include your community agreements, your contacts, and your gathering cadence. So that's a great place for people to just figure out, what do we do once we're here in our community, and how do we engage with each other? Make sure you have an intro thread. So every week you should say, who's new to the group? Introduce yourself. We want to know you. So members can introduce themselves without making a whole new post every single time. Or you want them to, I guess that depends on the rhythm of your group. So depending on how many people are in your group, if you have a smaller group, then you actually do want them to make a new post every time. But if you have a large group, then you might want to create a thread. And then you want to have some type of weekly rhythm. A weekly rhythm is how you create safety, because people relax when they know what to expect. So a weekly rhythm could be like, every Monday we share each other's businesses. Every Wednesday we tell each other about our kids and what kids are happening. Every Friday is our activation day where we say what's happening for the weekend. So just having a rhythm that helps people to understand how the group moves. Finally, moderation isn't about being the internet police. And you need to make sure your moderation team understands that moderation is caretaking in a container. So that's all it is. They shouldn't be policing people and telling people how to talk to people unless it's harmful speech. And remember, going back to our repair, it's the same repair structure when you're online. You remove people when they are violating people's safety, when they are doing things that they've already been reprimanded for, and you've told them over and over again, like, this is not acceptable here. If they're engaging in hate speech or harassment or predatory behavior, it's disrespect, it's repeated disrespect, remove them. You can redirect them and give them a boundary when it's not harmful, but it just doesn't belong in this space. So sales posts that are constantly turning the group into a marketing place, off-topic rants, repeated posts over and over and over again, that person who reposts in the group 7 times a day. This is a boundary. You can post here within these boundaries. And then repair. When there's a sister wound moment, a misunderstanding, a tone issue, or conflict, this is where you use your repair tools. Remember them: clarity, consent, curiosity, closure. And sometimes leadership means choosing boundaries, which is just a hard no. So if somebody repeatedly breaks trust, you already know it's not about them being a bad guy, but you're not going to sacrifice the group's safety to avoid being the bad guy. That's our clean power, right? So now let's talk a little bit about content, because without lanes, your group becomes like a junk drawer. Everybody's coming there posting everything. And before you know it, again, people are back to, why am I here? So you want to have content lanes with your moderation team, and you also want to have content lanes with yourself. Like, as the leader or as the leaders, what are we posting about? Like, how do we differentiate ourselves from our moderation team? Or is there a differentiation? Should there be a differentiation? But here's some lanes you can go into: connection. We see each other. Like, how are you going to check in and make sure each people are actually engaging? So that's like story prompts. That's like weekly check-ins. What are you carrying this week? What made you happy this week? Would you like to hang out with a friend this weekend? Then you have your resources. We help each other. So you can have referral opportunities, guides, local events, mutual aid info. And then another content lane is activation. What do you do together? So examples might be challenges, meetups, accountability threads. Take one step this week. If you can keep your content in 3 lanes, your group stays steady and your people don't get overwhelmed, and people know what to expect here. All right. So for your assignment this week, you're going to write your group purpose in 1 sentence, and you're going to create your first 3 pin posts. So figure out where your container is. That's up to you. Once you know your MVG, your most viable gathering, that should tell you a lot about where your people want to gather at. So write your group purpose in 1 sentence and create your first 3 pin posts. And you can do that in your Tribe Builders roadmap. In the next video, we're going to be focusing on mindfulness for tribe builders, because you cannot hold an online space if your nervous system is in survival mode. So I will see you in the next one.